Dubai, you're welcome.
Hello, Sis B, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. You're welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you? Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
You see, I was saying, I was contributing. I was telling a story yesterday. I had a first-hand experience in the African church, and my experience that I kind of touched briefly yesterday.
Yeah.
I wasn't extradited, so to say, in the church, but I was so isolated. In the sense that, like I said, so obviously in the process of the divorce and separation, even people that don't know me, they were judging, they were saying, I remember going to a particular African shop. That shop is closed now in Edinburgh. I went there. I went to go and buy bread.
Yeah.
To go and buy a gege bread, so to say. And there were two women who were judging my matter. Like they judged my matter. Like I did that place. The woman they cut tie, the shop attendant. They cut tie. They, like
they're not saying are you. They're not saying are you that they talk about.
Yeah, no, they don't know me. You understand? You see, when that whole divorce, well, not divorce, like when at the point of separation and everything, because he was a usher in church. He was a
and you said this man when used you like this now, pastor a bit today now.
What did they talk? I said the guy, so like he's a head usher or usher in church. But for me, I refuse to be a worker because I looked at the church dynamics. So I refused to be a worker. They were calling me sinner. They said that because of me, they couldn't make him a deacon back then in Redeem. That because I refused to be a worker in church, that kind of thing. So the way it was done, they used me to preach for church. That was how bad it was.
Well,
so I can so relate with African doll, until it happens to you, because I know that people talk about it, but I've never, I didn't witness it until when it happened to me. And you know how isolating it could, in the Western country, it can be quite lonely. So now imagine when you're going through hell, and then the church that is meant to be your family, that is meant to be your community, like I will walk into church and they will start talking. Most of these people, they don't, apart from me stepping into church, a lot of them don't even know anything about me.
Yeah.
All they know me for is that sister that used to wear jeans. That one when they will follow them the way I should be for church.
Some of the church people, they watch this program today, yes. So
what are you saying?
They are watching, they are listening to it because they seen it when I set it up. You people should be ashamed of yourself.
You know something?
You cannot call on yourself Christian. You are all hypocrites. Now hypocrites.
Do you know something?
Judge all of you.
From 2000, and I remember when the whole thing happened. Do you know I was so isolated?
Judging other people for sinning differently. Now,
right?
Who are you? Who made you a judge over other people?
Thing, they had pastors meeting and workers, whatever meeting they said they used to have. And I was the center of their topic.
They take you to meeting. The whole meeting for your head.
The interesting thing, they will talk about me is I don't even, because me, I'm this kind of person where I don't send. And to an extent, it wasn't because I didn't send. I think it was just a case of, I just they talk. You understand? And it was quite painful because there was nobody to turn to within the church at that time. That time, Sis B, you see Edinburgh, Edinburgh was a very lonely place. Because unlike England,
so
you don't have a lot of blacks.
It's very solid for you, like that's a big part of your life.
You understand? And the thing is, what even maybe now we have a lot of blacks. Then we didn't have a lot of blacks then. In short, the African shop with the Edinburgh that time, I think there were only just two of them. The Africa, anybody that is in Edinburgh will know what I'm saying. The Africa and African Crest. They were the only two African shops in the whole of Edinburgh. Do you know people will be judging my matter in my own very presence?
Yeah.
I will enter both when they judge my matter. And most of what they are saying, they are not even accurate. It's a case of, they say she said. One even said that guy, what thing she do? She pack in low, put inside black leather, throw away and for outside. They don't know anything. Okay? And much later, because at a point, I actually considered relocating. But then somewhere along the line, luckily, like I said, I had, at work, obviously, the Oyibo people who had to follow the work. They were the ones that became the soothing shoulders for me. They were the ones giving me confidence.
What your church family would have been doing.
Exactly. They were
all they care about is their image.
Now
who are they deceiving? Who are they deceiving?
Let me relate.
You cannot fool God. God sees all your hearts. My heart black.
I mean, much later in the year, I said I go greet pastor no go answer me. It was years later, like when I say years, like maybe like 6-7 years later, that one of the days I greeted the pastor saw me in an event, and then the pastor now came to me. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
But you go and ask God for forgiveness.
You understand? So you see, this thing that is happening to African Doll, I don't know how it works in America, but you see, our churches, unfortunately, should be a place of comfort. It should be a place where the heavy-hearted will come in there and they will be relieved. But unfortunately, it becomes a place of high judgment, where everybody in the church, unfortunately, they are all holy.
It's like most of these churches have lost the true message that Christ died for us for. All they do now is about the image, is about, all these fancy things that they do. They don't even care about the people. And like somebody like African Doll now going through this thing. What would Jesus do?
You know what?
They don't care about that.
You know, I was telling you yesterday that I was on Prozac, right? Because I became so, it's bad enough that we don't have a lot of blacks. Now imagine being so isolated in the midst of not having, like, I was so terrified. Who do you speak to? Who will you speak to that, will not go back and relate you in a different way? You understand? And I would never pray for my enemy to even go through that journey. And guess what? You said
all because of waiting you do, Dupe, because your marriage ends. Marriage when people say they still use you carry your head. You don't know.
And you know the interesting thing? In the midst of all of that, the guy was still going to the church.
Of course.
Okay.
He
was going to the church. He was doing business as usual. Okay. I also know another lady back then. The lady she and another adult, they got into Kerewa runs. You understand? And then the woman fell pregnant. This is not too matured adult too. The woman fell pregnant. Do you know that all of them in church, everybody focused on the woman? Now shower because her husband just died. They said the woman now shower, waiting. Meanwhile, the guy that got her pregnant, the two of them, the two responsible adults that did the Kerewa, the man was being patted on the back. Why the woman was the one that was being punished? She has to sit at the back of the church. So you see, it is a shame because
it's sad, really sad.
It's a shame,
and it pisses me off. And for any of you sitting down there and watching this and thinking it's African Doll that wants me to do this story for any reason, then you are mistaken. I'm sorry. Nobody asked me to do it. It's me. And this is what we do here. Anything that is injustice, it just icks me. I don't like it. And you churches and church members, you need to do better. You guys should go and ask God for forgiveness, for judging.
When I saw Samuel Posu, he released apart from even back to church, he released the music. I think music, whatever, Komo Body or whatever he called it, whatever he's doing. He's walking around as if nothing has happened. Okay? Now, that lady has to bear the bond. African Doll has to bear the bond. While he is parading himself, and before you know what is happening, they go rub him for head. He begins to minister again. He's already on posters and stuff. That lady has to leave tree. But my own advice to the lady, going from experience, is African Doll, if you can hear me, put your heads up. You have no apology to anybody. Okay? Put your heads up. The only time you have to look down is when you have to tie the lace of your shoe. Put your head. You see those people? They don't know you. They don't contribute anything to your life. And that was the attitude I had. And you see, the moment I grew to have that kind of attitude, nothing bothers me.
And now they're all watching, no? All of them are there now, sitting down and watching.
You know Samuel Kosu. Unfortunately, the wife thinks she's on top of the world because in Nigeria, marriage is like winning an award. Okay? Now, she thinks until one day, I'm very sure there are a lot of untreated STDs. The unspeakable STD that she's treating that she's not talking about. And the man, Sammy obviously is a guy that cannot zip up. And this is not going to be the first. It's not going to be the last. There's probably a lot of, African Doll is bold enough to speak up. Unlike our other...
that is where the judgment is. Dubai, you understand? The fact that she spoke out, this fact that she had the courage to speak out, now what did they judge her for that, if you don't know? So yes. to these people that are so wicked in their heart that call themselves Christians in African churches. How dare you say something against a man or a minister of God? That's our punishment now.
Sister B, you know what's happened? You know why I got into trouble for Redeem? Because I called the pastor out that how can she open her eyes and her daughter is sleeping with my ex? That was where I wronged the church because I called her out. You understand? And she
imagine that.
I called her out and I told her, I said, I have emails as proof.
Did she not know before that her daughter is sleeping with your husband?
She pretended. She said, you know what's happened there? Wait, make I just sit down in Pickin's side. You know, my ex will go and pick. She made my ex head of protocol. You know, so they start on their Kerewa. She made him head of protocol, aka PA. Okay? So when the daughter lives in England, my ex will go, the daughter will be coming, my ex will go and pick her. And they talk of full-grown woman, she'll go and pick her, then he will pick, you know those days that we used to have what's the name of this video cassette where they get that time? The DVD and video cassette. He will carry on, he will go and pick it, he knows the kind of film that she watches. Then they will be in the pastor's house, okay? A married man, a full-grown married man. They will go and pick up the DVDs and everything together. Now, so me, I now became worried. I was like, this guy, you know, go spend time with me. You go there, they follow, what's the name? The pastor's wife is around, a pastor's daughter is around, you'll be going. He went from Edinburgh, go do birthday with Pastor Pickin for London. Okay? So when me too, I became uncomfortable, and apparently I was not supposed to talk. I was supposed to just keep quiet and be looking.
As a good Christian woman, just keep quiet. Anything he does, you must not talk.
Because since we don't forget, I don't do Yoruba, good Yoruba girl, good Yoruba housewife. But later I now had to borrow myself the worry side. When
you don't tire for good Yoruba girl, you don't do Yoruba girl again.
I said when I two were a worry side lay, that was when they now said, she's disobedient, she's not submissive, she's this, she's not that. But I was able to like stand my ground because I knew what I saw, and you know they were trying to twist it around. That no, that was not what it looked. I said, what do you mean that's not what it looks like? He went to London to go and do birthday. They stayed in hotel together. I had pictures because unfortunately for him, he sent pictures that they took together into my own personal email instead of our email. That was how I got a glimpse. That's how I got a glimpse of it. So when I showed it to the pastor, this is why they talk, Sis B. You know that their head zonal what did they call them? Their head zonal redeem member, pastor. That one come. They do meeting. They did meeting. I was in the middle of the meeting to come and discuss that I want to scatter church. You understand? Because I was speaking up.
Is this, you see, the silencing is what makes me sick in all this. And it's the same thing, where you know now, based on your job as well, you know, when we talk about all the women when they run away from abuse, the abuse where they happen for church, and the silencing that goes with it, you must not talk. Come report to pastor. Tell pastor wife. They go tell you, say, go pray. Your prayer is not enough. Do night vigil, fast. If you say you won't even leave, even at one that they beat you, you say you won't leave, they will say, you be bad wife. You know submit. You don't do this. You don't do that.
Since you know what I do?
Bad thing.
You know what I do? When I now show the pastor, I think there are 4 different regional pastors, the Dundee pastor and Pastor Daniel Akamazia, that's what his name is called. All of them gather themselves together. And I'll show them, I said, listen, you see, I've been doing good Yoruba girl. Make I tell you now London, they born me. I grew up in Warri. I get Chris, like correct Chris. Forget I get bought a level. You know, the moment I did that, and I became the horrible lady, the wife that is not submissive. Since do you know that me and my ex, they the same house. Pastor go cook soup, give my ex. Say make my ex, he go cook soup. Say me I know they get time for house because I was working outside Edinburgh. Okay. So when I saw that they get mad, you know, nobody.
Now woman be una pastor.
Now woman no. Now one Mrs. Make I not call her the second name. So you know what this woman go do? She go cook. They'll cook. So me at first I was like, mommy, you know me, I was doing Yoruba again. I was like, mommy, you know we can't do this, we can't do that. But later I come look and say, okay, you know what? Now Chris, they used to look after Chris. Make I do Yoruba again. Make I do worry again.
Make you release the worry in you.
Understand? You know what that's what I doing. So when they now cook soup, me to start cooking at home. So pastor, I will tell my ex, I say, I beg, when pastor go bring soup for us. So once pastor don't cook soup, I will carry a bar. I go make pounded yam, go sit down, go chop am. They call the talk for church, say me, I no get Ironu. Wait.
I'm
For me, because you know one thing with me, I allow people to display their stupidity.
See that kind of thing.
But I doing all of this, right, Sis B, I now realize that, you see, in this kind of churches, when you go to this kind of churches, being a good girl is not the best thing to do. And you see, the moment I stood my ground, that was when all of them now realized that, okay, this one is not a push around. Okay? Then they stepped back. And then I told the pastor, I said, look, me, I'm leaving your church. I now stopped kneeling there because pastor go they come, they will carry bag. You see people running around, they be carry. And I said, my mama will bomb me, I no carry a bag. How would their pastor they carry bag for what's now?
That's what they do for politicians for Nigeria now. That's what, because they carry Nigeria enter church.
Sis B, my husband, my ex na PA. That will go carry pastor for money. He go help pastor go through those being come out for house. Then me will come be Mrs. Good wife. I will call the help pastor the carry back. No be juju.
Your ex married the pastor daughter when they wanna marry.
No, they not go marry because
why you not marry him? If
you
I'm really marry
now. Secrets now. You know, say I leak secrets. I see picture, and I show them the picture where I see. So they could not marry because if they marry, then that will confirm my story. You understand? Since I said they were transferring money. He was transferring money, putting money into our account from my own money that I worked for my own savings. Paid for a house rent in London. You understand? But it's the secrecy of the church. But in all of it, one thing I noticed is, you see in African churches, if you are the girl that, if you are that submissive wife that don't open your mouth to talk, you are a submissive wife. But you see, if you are the one that open your mouth to talk and question, you are not submissive.
So in this case now, that the church members, I know they are all stretching their neck and eye now, looking at this now, and they keep accusing her of this and that. What do you have to say to African Doll lastly? Before
you know, like I said to her, all of these things, African Doll, the best thing I would say to you is don't send anybody. You see me, at a point, I was worried about what will people say. Okay? Because I was once in that shoes. I was so mindful and worried about what will people say. But you have to get to a stage where you grow thick skin. Because at the end of the day, you know what you've done. You've stood your ground. And they don't feed you, they don't clothe you. So move on with your life. You don't need them. Look for a church if you have to go to a church. You go to a church where people genuinely care for you. Like for me, I started going to a white church.
That's what a lot of people are doing now. That's what a lot of people are doing.
I've been going to white church since 2008.
Yeah, because Oyibo pastor will still hold your hand and pray with you. Even that prayer of forgiveness, they will help you to pray it and lead you back to Christ. But they will not cast you out. But these are our churches.
In African Doll, if you can hear me, don't bother about what will people say, because those people don't define you. And for all you care, they don't even know you. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you. So they will always, as of gossip, people will gossip. But trust me, you see, your story is the story for today. For me, when my divorce came through, for 2 years, I was the center topic in Edinburgh. After 2 years, the story faded.
Another one will come up.
The story will fade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another one will come up.
Live your life. Be safe for yourself and your baby. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dupe. I appreciate you, sis. God bless you.